This is the instructional video for 3.3, the planets. In this assignment, you're creating a table with some merged cells and some spaces where each of the planets in our solar system are listed. Their distance from the Sun in astronomical units is shown, and an image of the planet is shown as well. Now these images of the planets you'll have to get from the internet, and we'll show you how to do that. And then they're going to be placed in the middle of these cells here on the left, and any background space, any blackness of space behind the images will be taken out of the image so that they show pretty much like a circle. So let's reduce this and put that up to the side so we still have the image available, and get started in our workspace. The first thing we're going to do is enter the table itself, and as you can see from the assignment sheet itself, there are 3 columns, and the number of rows, let's count them. 1 row for planet, 1 row for image and name, and 1 row for each of the planets themselves. And the instructions say each planet plus Pluto, because as we all know, Pluto was delisted as a planet. So there's 9 heavenly bodies, shall we say, including Pluto, plus the 2 header rows, so that's a total of 11 rows and 3 columns. So we insert table, and we need 3 columns and 11 rows. And here you can see that we can only get up to about 3 by 8. So we can go down to insert table, and there we can simply type in the number of columns, 3, the number of rows, 11, and we say OK. So the basic structure of our table is shown here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, holding down the control key and rolling the wheel of my mouse back. I'm just going to pull down that bottom border down towards the bottom of the page, and with the exception of the first 2 rows, I'm going to make them all the same height. Right click and go down to distribute rows evenly. That gives me the basic structure of the table. We've got some cell merging to do here. I'll just right click and merge cells, and here right click and merge cells. So these are our heading sections here where we have the word planet, image, name, and distance from the Sun in astronomical units. Now these are all going to be center, so I'm going to try to highlight them all at the same time. I'm going to use this selection area here off to the left to highlight all of those. Right click and then go to cell alignment and center them. And it looks like they're bold as well, so Control B will make it bold. Now we can see from the original here that these 2 columns are the same width, and my image column is a little bit more narrow. If I go up here onto the ruler, I've got my table border tool. Now let's move that one over a little bit, and these 2 are still the same width. I can just eyeball this a little bit and make those wider. Okay, so there's my basic structure. Now I've got to go find some images. So if I just type in some names, let's just type in, I'm only going to do 1 or 2. That's Mercury. And that's 0.39 astronomical units from the Sun. Here's my challenge. On the assignment sheet, I've only got the astronomical units listed for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and I can barely see Saturn in there. So I've got 3 more planets to deal with after that, and I'll just have to look up the information if I don't know what it is. But more so than anything else, I need to look up the image. So let's go get the image from the internet. So Mercury, of course, is a Roman god. It's also one of the elements. It's a metallic liquid. And it's a planet. So we'll just have to see what comes up when I type in Mercury. It's also a car, by the way. And I will search that, and let's go with images. Oh, we got lots of images of Mercury. So I'm going to choose one of these images that suits my purposes. What I would like to do is find one that's got a background that is pretty much uniform. I like this one here, and I like this one because it shows me the whole planet and the background appears to be uniformly black compared to this one, for instance, where the background has some stars in it and the background has this fuzzy gray, looks like an atmosphere or something, but Mercury has no atmosphere, so I don't know what they're up to. So I click on that, I get the image from the original website, right click on that, copy image, and we'll go back and I'm going to paste it right in here, and this is going to mess up my table completely. Control V. And the reason it did that is because the image is quite large. But not to fear, if I click on the image, I have my corner handles. Don't use the mid-span handles, always use the corner handles, because if I click and drag on the corner handle, I will maintain proportions. So I'm going to make it really small. In fact, I'm going to make it smaller than the box itself, because it'll be easier to work with. Two things I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of the black, and I'm going to position it center. So if I can choose this cell, the entirety of the cell, and if I click there, you'll see that it highlighted the entire cell. So right over here on the left, there's this invisible selection area just inside the cell. Click there, I click on the cell, or I select the cell contents, right click, and I go to cell alignment and go center. That means that this image will be the center of this column, regardless if I make the row bigger or the column bigger. It always stays center. That's what I'm after. I'm just going to undo that. There we go. Last thing I'm going to do with this image is I'm going to take away this black stuff. So I have to tell the computer by clicking on the image that I want to manipulate the image. My picture tools menu becomes available. Click on that. These are all my picture tools where I can manipulate the picture, and I believe it's under color that we'll have a tool here called Set Transparent Color. It's spelled wrong, it's spelled American. Anyways, I click on that and I get this little tool here that allows me to click in the black and the black becomes invisible. And there we have Mercury, its image. Now I'll just right click on these to get these set center as well. And Mercury is done. So now I just have to go through and get the same for all the other planets. If I need to know the distance to the Sun, I would type in something like this. Uranus distance to Sun, AU, that's what an astronomical unit is. If I search for that, I don't want an image. There we go. Oh, look at this solar system data. There, it's got everybody. Okay, so that's Saturn, but if I click on Uranus, there's Uranus. Mean distance to the Sun, so on average it's 19.19 astronomical units. An astronomical unit, of course, is the distance from Earth to the Sun, on average. So it's 19 times as far away. So we can find that data on the internet, we can find the images on the internet, and it's a matter of placing it in the table and formatting appropriately. Good luck with that.